Intercity bus service. It connects communities, especially those not served or inadequately served by rail and air services. Before 2020, intercity bus service throughout southwestern Ontario had pretty much been dominated by one company, Greyhound. But eventually, they were no more, and the entire region's intercity bus network collapsed along with them. In this video, I'm going to go over the aftermath of that collapse and what the network looks like today. I will be focusing on the Southwestern Ontario region, though much of what I'm about to say really applies to all of North America, as many regions have suffered or perhaps will suffer the same or similar fate. With a gaping hole left behind by the departure of Greyhound, the provincial government of Ontario scrambled to deregulate the industry by 2021 in order to pave the way for the return of bus service by new companies. Essentially, specific routes and geographical areas were no longer subject to exclusivity, meaning that between two cities there could now be more than one company transporting passengers. This seemed to be a good decision under the circumstances, and I believe at the time it was the only rational choice. There was now one less barrier to entry for new companies, and in theory, competition should go up and prices should consequently go down for consumers. However, there were many missed opportunities and unintended consequences with deregulation. There are numerous companies with intercity bus routes in southwestern Ontario as of February 2024. Megabus, which offers express non-stop service between London and Toronto. Intercity, which offers service between London, Kitchener, Pearson Airport, Toronto, and additionally serving smaller cities such as Sarnia, Strathroy, and Woodstock. Flixbus, which mainly offers service between London and Toronto, both via Brantford and Hamilton, and via Pearson Airport and Kitchener. And finally, the following three bus companies also offer service between London and Toronto via Kitchener and Pearson. Ryder Express, with additional service to and from Mississauga, Onyx Bus, with additional service to and from Brampton and Stratford, Book a Ride, with additional service to and from Milton, and finally, there are some US-based companies such as Greyhound and Trailways also serving this area, but I won't get into those for this video. These companies all stop at many different locations, even within the same city. Having different stops for different companies makes it way more difficult to plan your trip and to transfer between buses of different companies. In Toronto, Megabus, Flixbus, and Ryder Express all use the Union Station bus terminal, also served by GO buses and connected to Union Station, which is served by GO, UP, and Via trains, as well as the TTC Line 1 subway. So connectivity to transit here is good. This is the case for most other large North American cities. Intercity and Onyx Bus, on the other hand, stop at Front and York, an outdoor stop that is not in Union Station, albeit right beside the station entrance. It is also served by the Billy Bishop or City Airport shuttle bus. Ideally, all of these services should be in the Union Station bus terminal, but at least it's not too far away from the actual Union Station. I believe these bus companies don't want to pay the fees required to use the bus terminal, which is a shame because I think the benefits of having an indoor spot to wait for the bus with washrooms outweighs the costs. In London, Ontario, all companies except for Intercity serve the exact same location, the Elgin Hall parking lot at Western University. This location is outdoors and therefore not protecting anyone waiting for the bus from the elements. All companies also have a second stop in London, with all of the companies except for Megabus stopping in downtown London, close to or beside the Via Rail station, though those taking the bus from London are not permitted to use Via Rail's indoor facilities. Megabus, on the other hand, serves a gas station in the south near the highway. Therefore, pretty much anyone taking the bus from London is forced to wait outside. The exception to this is Intercity, who has bought the former Greyhound bus terminal in London. My hope is that all buses will eventually use this terminal as the downtown London stop, including public intercommunity buses, which also face the same issue. On a side note, with the departure of Greyhound Canada, along with its indoor bus terminal infrastructure, there is now a systemic issue of inadequate infrastructure for intercity bus passengers throughout Southwestern Ontario. And it's not just Southwestern Ontario. Most of Canada, if not North America, is experiencing this exact same issue. With multiple companies operating in a Wild West-like environment, there seems to be a lack of coordination by the public sector and these private companies combined to make improvements to the passenger experience and to the efficiency and integration of their operations. These companies and the municipal, provincial, and perhaps even federal governments should team up to consolidate locations and install high-quality shelters that the communities deserve. In Kitchener, surprisingly, all companies except for Flixbus stop at the exact same location, Sports World. This is actually an underrated stop, in my opinion. It also happens to be a GO Transit and Grand River Transit bus stop, but unfortunately, this is not widely known nor clearly advertised as a connection point by either the bus companies or the public transit agencies. GO buses traveling between Waterloo and Wilfrid Laurier University and Mississauga serve this stop once hourly, and local and express GRT buses regularly serve this stop all day, every day. Therefore, anyone living near transit in Mississauga or the Kitchener-Waterloo-Cambridge urban area can use this stop as a connection point to or from these intercity bus operators. In my opinion, this stop should be renamed to Sports World Intercity Station on all GRT, GO, and private bus operator maps and websites, with the capability of connecting to or from intercity bus operators being clearly advertised. Pearson Airport also has, surprisingly, many possible transit connections that people not going to or from the airport can take advantage of. In general, however, many of these locations served by these bus companies have poor connectivity to public transit. In other words, they heavily rely on passengers being picked up and dropped off by automobile. The fix for this is to instead serve a stop with better public transit, or bring better public transit to the existing stops. Also, if you do decide to take transit to and from these buses, because the tickets are separate, the public transit fares have to be paid for separately, which isn't always as simple as you think. And if you miss the second bus because the first bus is late, then you're out of luck and are on the hook for a new ticket most of the time, assuming there's another bus you can take. If you could buy these bus tickets with integrated GO fares, you'd be able to start or finish at any stop or station served by GO and be accommodated should a missed connection happen. So, for example, despite Western Mississauga and downtown Mississauga not directly being served by any of these bus companies, you would be able to take a GO bus from downtown Mississauga to Kitchener, then connect to, for example, a Ryder Express bus to take you the rest of the way to London, Ontario. The possibilities are endless. All it takes is for GO Transit to coordinate with these companies, just like they once used to do with Via Rail's ticketing system. And that leads me to the next subject. All of these bus companies have separate, independent ticketing systems relying on various user interfaces. Some of these companies have rather difficult user interfaces on their website when, for example, you're selecting a location. You basically have to guess which stop is closest to you and hope that the desired services at the desired times actually service that exact stop. For example, on Onyx Bus, there is at least one service that skips downtown London that someone closer to downtown London could have taken if the time would be more convenient for them, rather than going on another bus from downtown at a less convenient time. But they would have to try the specific combination and know about this when booking. This makes booking a bus exponentially more frustrating for everyone. Also, the cost, of course, can vary by day or even time of day, and can sometimes vary even for different stops within the same city. But you're unable to make these comparisons easily on many of these websites. You would literally have to try every single combination of dates and locations just to find the lowest price. To be fair, these companies aren't software companies, but either way, I think these issues do affect their bottom line. If the user interfaces were easier, some empty seats on these buses would definitely have been filled. And let's not forget about accessibility. Not that private transportation companies have a good track record on accessibility. Airlines. Most of these companies have few to no accessible buses. The ones that have a few accessible buses often require advance notice to shuffle their fleet so that the one trip in particular gets an accessible bus assigned. So, what can be done to improve these buses? Well, first of all, contact your local municipality and members of provincial and federal parliament. Let them know that the government should give a hand in improving public infrastructure for these services, and encourage these private bus companies to achieve better integration and customer experience by choosing to use services that are better integrated and giving them feedback when the opportunity arises. They want your business after all, and will do everything to make sure that happens. If you enjoyed this video and want more content like this, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to this channel. Thanks for watching.